Hello and welcome, everyone. We're here at the Malvern Three Counties Showground, and we have a blockade of a military arms fair going on. If I just turn the camera here, you will see that here at the Three Counties Showground, there is a massive arms fair. We're out here in the beautiful countryside, and this arms fair is happening. We have blocked almost all the gates to try to stop the arms fair from happening, because it's really important to understand that the military is not just causing death and destruction across the world, but it's also a cause of much of the emissions that are killing the planet. So we are here blocking this arms fair. And so you can see behind me one of the tripods. There are 4 tripods across 4 gates, and so these are blocking. But this gate here, the brown gate, is the center of some of the interesting things that are happening. I'm just going to turn the camera back around and show you that this is also the site of a vaccination center. We had been told that the vaccination center was closed today, but a few people needed to enter it. And as Extinction Rebellion, we don't block blue lights and we don't block vaccination centres. There were NHS key workers who needed to get in, as well as school loads of bus children who were coming for their vaccinations. So we have made the team made the decision to move the tripod to the side, and what you will see are cars driving in. Unfortunately, those cars are mostly for the arms fair, because it's impossible for us to distinguish between who's going to the arms fair and who's going to the vaccination centre. So it's a bit of disappointment for us, but it was a really important judgment call for us to make, to leave that vaccination centre open. And in the meanwhile, we've got a really strong presence all the way around this showground, because the point that we want to make during this COP time, is that what we need to do to reduce emissions to net zero, to save this planet, to create a more sustainable way of living, is not only, the individual change that the governments try to suggest. There are all kinds of emissions that individually we cannot do anything about, and the military is a massive source of emissions. The British military produces as much emissions as 60 individual countries in the world. So if we want to switch to a livable planet that is suitable and sustainable for generations to come, then addressing the military emissions are hugely important. And so we have people all around. We've got a group of rebels over there. We've got lots of people arriving. We've got several different organizations are also here. We've got individuals who have come from around the Midlands to this. We've got somebody who's come down from FINT and is here today. So we've got XR, but we've got other groups as well who are all here to say, first of all, no to this military technology and the military technology that's causing so much suffering. We are here to oppose that, and we're here to also point out their role in climate destruction. And the link between oil, between petroleum reserves and war is a really clear link that doesn't often get made. But of the 20 countries that are deemed most vulnerable to climate change, 12 of them are mired in war. So, and those are often places where oil reserves are the greatest. So war and our addiction to fossil fuels are intimately linked. Our government uses the machinery of war in order to secure the fossil fuels that we are currently dependent upon and which are currently causing the carbon dioxide to continue to increase and to continue to cause problems and global heating. Certainly most strongly in the global south, as we know, that's where the suffering from climate heating is the highest, but we're starting to see those effects here in the UK as well. So at this moment of COP26, when governments are meeting together with the possibility of making change, we are here to say, don't forget what the military is doing and the power that you have to stop not only the destruction of our environment and our natural resources, but also to stop the military-industrial complex. Several of the corporations who are here at this fair have also been implicated in human rights abuses. We're talking about BAE Systems. We're talking about Lockheed Martin. There is a sister action going on today up in Scotland at BAE Systems because they have been so involved in selling technology to regimes who are destroying lives in many countries. And so we're here to stand up and say no. It's difficult for us. As you see these cars stream past me, these are all people going to the military fairs. These are all people who are selling technology or buying technology that is responsible for human rights abuses and that is responsible for climate destroying emissions. But we've kept this gate open in order to let vaccination staff pass through. There are few vaccination staff, but it's very important to us. As you can see on the sign, there is a vaccination center. It was supposed to be closed today. We had checked that out, but unfortunately it's open just to bring in some school loads of children. So this is what we're doing, and I'm going to talk to one of the people who's not with Extinction Rebellion, but who has come down and is here to protest what's happening at this fair. So there's one side of your sign. Do you want to show the other side of your sign? Got a really, really nice sign here. So I'm wondering if I can hold my microphone out to you, if you would like to just tell us a little bit about what you're doing here. Why was it important for you to come to this arms fair?
Because arms are simply wrong, evil, simple as that. Why do you make and sell stuff that kills people? How can we have peace if we have weapons of destruction? I'm a member of the Peace Pledge Union, and we're basically pacifists. There's all sorts of specious arguments about why we need, if we don't sell them, somebody else will sell them. All sorts of, doesn't hold any water.
Brilliant.
So I'm here basically for my grandchildren. That's in aid of them.
You're an aid for your grandchildren. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to us. Really appreciate that. So this is really what we're calling one of these movement of movement moments, where we've got people not only from Extinction Rebellion, but from other organizations as well, because we're united in a common purpose, both against what's happening with this arms fair, and also the wider climate and ecological issues that it raises. I'm wondering if there's anybody who would like to have a chat on live stream for a minute and just tell us why you're here. Yeah, give you 5 minutes. There's lots of stuff going on here, so we're busy there. Would you be willing to speak to live stream and tell us a little bit about what you're doing? Yeah, you're from Extinction Rebellion, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Can you just hold this close to you?
Yeah.
And speak into that for me.
Okay.
There's the microphone is here.
Oh, that's the microphone, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, okay. Yeah, we're here. We were trying to blockade the arms fair because there's a huge amount of oil that's involved in the arms fair, the arms industry, and they go hand in hand. One hand feeds the other. So basically, if the arms industry keeps and the war industry keeps going, they're going to use up huge amounts of oil. I heard somebody talking earlier on about the amounts of petrol that gets burnt by a B-52 bomber. You know, it's just absolutely horrendous, all the stuff that goes on, and it's something that we've
got some rather aggressive people in the game here.
Rather aggressive people, yes, sometimes, yeah. But yes, I mean, the arms industry is a major money source, and it influences politicians. And the politicians, you know, create the wars around the world. You know, it's no coincidence that the countries that have been invaded by America happen to have a lot of oil and happen to have pipelines going across them. So it's a very nasty little situation.
It's all linked, isn't it?
It's all linked, and it's dark, and it needs to be exposed. So that's what we're trying to do here.
Thank you so much. That's all right. Cheers. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are here. More people are starting to arrive. People have been moving between the different gates. It's actually a huge site here. I'm just here at this one gate, but there are other gates that we're going to go to in just a little bit. But I'm going to see if we've got anyone else who thinks that they might want to speak to camera. We've got a snare drum that's shown up. I think we're going to be having a bit of a small samba here going on. All right, yeah? Absolutely, they're just getting set up and ready to go. So that's wonderful. Oh, and we've got a small drum too. Woohoo!
Very loud.
Small but very loud. I saw the police tackle somebody with a drum that size in London for a drum that size.
Really loud.
All right, that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And we also have some dog mascots here, I have to say. We have a few dogs. We've got one here today. There'll be another one a bit later. So it's all starting to feel a bit more like the XR atmosphere as the morning carries on. And again, we're all just sending our thoughts up to COP26 because we can't forget that this is happening during COP26 at a time when the world has been told that it's a code red for humanity, that we must do everything we can to act now and drop our emissions. These people are coming to this arms fair to trade in nefarious technology that's being used to round up human rights protesters, that's being used to round up indigenous people in different countries who are protecting their lands. We know that drone technology that's being sold here today, we saw a drone manufacturer go by just a little while ago, and this drone technology is actually being sent over into the rainforests to find indigenous camps who are protecting those precious rainforests, protecting that land for all of us, for the future. It's the patrimony of every child that is born to have this natural land, and our indigenous people are the ones who have been protecting it most. And they are being hunted down by those who want to continue to rape the land and those who want to continue to extract coal and oil and other resources to fuel the military regime. So I've got someone here who I think might be willing to have another chat with us. I'm wondering if you'd like to speak to camera for a minute about why you're here. Are you up for that?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah? That's great. I know you're usually quite articulate and passionate. So can I pass my microphone over to you? I can hold it if you like.
Okay, yeah.
And if you just want to share your thoughts while you're here, what you're doing.
Okay, I'm here because it's such a tragedy that at a time of a climate and ecological emergency and the sixth mass extinction, that we're having people still selling arms in places like this. And I think it's a real shame for places like this and for Liverpool to have these places coming and selling their weapons of mass destruction. I remember when we all remember when Tony Blair first gave us this word, weapons of mass destruction, and it horrified us all. And it was the excuse, the pretext which he used to override British public opinion and attack the country of Iraq and the people of Iraq, causing hundreds of thousands of deaths, and among British people as well. There were many British people who died as well, and it's all because of lies, which our leaders are telling, and the destruction of that. I mean, I don't know if you recall the destruction of the oil wells, and the carbon emissions from that was enormous. The pollution went on for years. It's still there. We're not told about it anymore because it's no longer news. Weapons from here are used in places like Afghanistan for the last 20 years, killing people. Now that has been brought to an end. The Americans and British have withdrawn, leaving all their weaponry, all this fancy stuff for the people that they fought against for 20 years. They will now use them against the population of Afghanistan, all supplied courtesy of the United States, Britain, and other countries like this. We can't fight the climate. There's an article which you should read or look at. We can't fight the climate crisis without fighting the military and industrial complex. So aerial gold. And to understand anything about the arms trade, you should really read a book by Andrew Feinstein, who's an amazingly courageous observer. It's an expose of the global arms trade, and it's called The Shadow World. The Shadow World. And I strongly recommend you read that. And and all of this is linked to social justice. And now we're getting a few whistleblowers, people like the US economist Jeffrey Sachs, just Jeffrey with a J, it's not the American way, Sachs, S-A-C-H-S, and he was explaining why Africa is poor, and it's poor not because it's poor, but because the West effectively made it poor, impoverished it. All of these things are connected with the social justice issues. The climate change that we're suffering now is all at base social justice issue. And the arms trade is diverting trillions of dollars from any efforts we might be making to survive. So, yeah.
That's wonderful, and I'm really glad that you brought that social justice part into it, because that's really, really fundamental to what we're doing in Extinction Rebellion, is realizing that we can't save the planet without changing the system and working for a just transition for everybody, and looking at all the systems of oppression.
And one thing I'd like to repeat is Extinction Rebellion's demand: tell the truth. That's what we want. We want the truth. Tell us the truth. What are the emissions from the global military and industrial complex? What are they? They're huge. They're greater than many nations. We know this. We want this to be published. We want people to talk about it and know about it. And if they knew about it, they would rather that money was spent on their children's education, on regreening, on green retrofitting our country, on insulating Britain, for example. All these things. They would rather the money was spent for the people than weapons of mass destruction, which basically are weapons for mass murder. Everything they're doing here is refining the means we have to kill larger and larger numbers of people. If I took a gun and I went and shot 20 people, that would be rightly called an atrocity. And if I'm sitting at a console and I press a button, and that leads to a grenade falling onto a crowd of people, I'm doing my job. I'm just doing my job as a military operator. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. That's brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's absolutely wonderful. Cheers now. So, as we continue on, so you can see the stream of cars going in there. It's breaking my heart a little bit. There's one person who actually went to the vaccination centre and has come back out again. But most of them are unfortunately going to the fair. So I'm going around here. We've got our little samba band. This is the beginning of our samba band in the Midlands. Are just getting started. Anybody feel like saying a few words to camera? We're live stream right now. Anybody feel like talking about why you're here? Yeah? Okay. So can I show you? We haven't shown these lovely signs yet. Oh, yeah. Just want to focus on this. Sorry, a lot of people involved have these right here. Yeah. So that's what we're doing. Wonderful. I'm going to pass over my microphone to you, so you can talk into the microphone a bit there. You don't have to walk too close. Is that okay? I think that's okay.
Okay, cool. So you just want me to talk about why I'm here?
Yeah, tell me what you think about this whole thing.
Okay, so basically I am here because the arms trade and the military is an absolutely enormous source of carbon emissions, and we categorically need to drastically reduce our carbon emissions if we're going to avoid ecological disaster. I also feel and believe that what is going on in here, the weapons and the intelligence things and the drones that are being traded in here, the vast majority of them are going to be used in ways that directly impact innocent people in the global south. And I don't believe that we should be using them in that way. I don't believe that we should be selling these things in our country. I don't believe we should be trading them to other countries like Saudi Arabia. And basically, I think the fact that this is even allowed in this country is absolutely appalling. I can see all of these people going in, mostly old white men in suits. And I just think, how can you do this? Where is your conscience? Yeah, I'm here to make some noise about that. I would really have liked to have stopped everybody going in, but sadly the vaccination centre being open means that has had to change a little bit, because obviously we want people to be able to get their vaccines. Yeah, but basically all of these people going to the arms fair, I think it's just appalling, and I can't believe how many people there are. It's ridiculous.
And they're streaming in right now.
They
aren't
are absolutely streaming in. There
all
are
these cars.
there is if you scroll around to the car park, there is a queue of cars waiting to park. There are hundreds and hundreds of people going into this place. I imagine they must have come from all over the country. I can't imagine
and it's
how there could.
per car.
It's one person per car. I can't imagine how there could possibly be this many people buying weapons. It's phenomenal. Yeah. So the emissions attached to the arms trade and the military are just mind-blowingly huge. And it's something that we have to stop if we want to avoid disaster.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
That's okay.
Yeah, very, very eloquent words there. Just getting my microphone back, everyone. This live streaming is juggling lots of things at once. So we've got this going on here. We've got more people coming around. We're really focusing here today. Again, I'm in Malvern. For those of you who might have joined us later, I'm in Malvern, Worcestershire today, which is in the Midlands, which is normally quite a peaceful place. If you can look behind us here, the brilliant, through these trees, the majestic Malvern Hills. Yeah, a beautiful, beautiful part of the countryside that we want to protect. And there is here something called the Three Counties Showground, and it's mostly an agricultural showground, but today it is home for an arms fair selling technology used to repress people in the global south. Interestingly enough, this showground didn't advertise that this was happening. It's not on their website. You see every other show it's doing, but not the military one, because they don't want the people of Malvern and the people of the Midlands and the people of the UK to know the dastardly trade that is happening right here. But Extinction Rebellion found them out. They're doing this during COP, during a time when the countries of the world are supposed to be coming together to recognize that this is the moment to save all life on our earth. We know that this is the time to act, and instead, yeah, we have these people supporting the military trade that not only represses people, but that is also contributing very significantly to the climate. Now, as I've said, if you've recently joined us, unfortunately, we have not blocked this gate, and you can see people streaming into the arms fair, which actually is breaking my heart right now. The reason that we have not blocked this gate is because there's a vaccination centre back there, and that vaccination centre, we had checked, was closed today. However, it is open to buses of school children who are coming in to being vaccinated, and we didn't know this, and so we had it blocked. But as soon as we saw that there were NHS key workers and kids to be coming in for vaccinations, we have moved the tripod to the side. The consequence of that is that the arms fair trade is sadly coming in through this gate. And we were faced with a really difficult ethical decision, but the team here said that Extinction Rebellion supports the NHS. We would rather see the resources of this vile military trade being put into the NHS to look after all the people of our country. We would rather that the vile resources put into the military trade were sent also for health and care and development across the world. So we made a really difficult decision, but we stand behind it, and we are here still letting these arms people know that we're watching them. Yeah, that you can't get away with this without people holding you to account. So I'm thinking that it might be time to go to some of the other gates, because there are lots and lots of gates here and we've blocked all of them. This is the only gate they can get through, and they're obviously sneaking in because of the vaccination centre. But we have other gates that are blocked, and we've got a massive amount of rebels who are here standing up in this time of COP to call out the arms trade, to call out the emissions of the arms trade, to call out the human rights abuses of the arms trade. All of these things are linked, and there are many groups who have joined us today. It's truly one of these things where we see movement of movements, different organizations, all with a similar purpose, all coming together united. So we've got 3 other gates. I think we've got people at Red Gate and Yellow Gate. So I'm wondering if there is a chance to go over to one of those gates.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi. So we're over on the Red Gate, watching the live stream now. We realise why it's so quiet here today. So we are on the road. We are blocking, well, we're off the road. We're blocking this gate here. We've had quite a lot of support from passers-by, positive reaction to what we're doing. So we've got, there's 4 rebels here on the ground with lock-ons. I'll just show you. And it's very, very cold over here this morning. So apologies if I'm shaking a little bit with the camera. And we're just going to go over and have a talk to one of the rebels on the lock-on. Hi.
Hello. Hi, I'm Madge. I'm here today because we all know, and we've known for decades, that we're on the verge of a complete breakdown in the climate. And there is something really absurd about the world continuing to put so many resources into weapons of destruction. What we need to do is work together globally to provide a solution to the climate crisis, and to find a way to live in peace and to uphold each other in solidarity. This is an obscenity that's happening behind us, because not only are these weapons being bought to create war between nations, but they're being purchased for countries to subdue their own populations, presently for political reasons, but very shortly, when the climate crisis becomes more serious, there's going to be a total breakdown of civilized society on every continent on Earth. And these weapons are going to be used to keep populations subdued, because they have to deal with famines, floods, no electricity, no water supplies. All the basics that we take for granted as necessities are going to be going year on year for the next few decades. So this is completely insane, that all these resources, all these jobs, all these materials are being used to create weapons, when we need to be finding a way to make this planet habitable for human beings in the long term, instead of putting all these resources into things that destroy other human beings and destroy the ecosystems that support us. That's why we're here, because we believe humanity can do better than this. We need to do better than this. If we're going to survive as a species, we need to do better than this, and we need to start doing it right now.
Thank you. So you can see what a beautiful place this is, which is opposite to what's going on inside. And up here on the tripod, we have another rebel. How are you doing?
I'm good. My name's Chickpea. I'm a little bit cold, and I hope you can hear me, but it's a beautiful view, and the future doesn't look too bad from up here.
Thank you. Are you comfortable up there?
I'm sitting on a rugby ball. I've been more comfortable, but I've also been less comfortable.
And we're all a little bit cold here today,
Should we sing a song to cheer us up? Yay.
So
I'm going to set off this flare as well.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay, everybody here is cold and they might do a little bit of singing, and when you feel like it you could go over to the other gate where I believe Lego Rebellion is also present. Are we doing it as a round?
I think so.
Okay, it's a round. You go first.
Bella mama, hey. Bella mama, hey. Bella mama, bella mama, bella mama, bella mama, bella mama, hey. Bella mama, bella mama, hey.
Any notes you'd like to say?
What I'd like to say to the people watching is, if you're not already involved in trying to make the world a better place, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to stand up against the injustice of climate change brought about by our excessive consumption, and what's going on behind us consumes a massive amount of the world's resources. Britain spends more on defence than it does on education. It spends a third as much on defence as we spend on the entire NHS system. It's just such a completely criminal waste of resources. So if you're not already standing up for justice, now is the time. You owe it to the future generations. You owe it to yourself. Seize your moment in history and do the right thing. Get yourself out there. Join a protest organisation and make a difference. Don't go to your grave wishing you'd done more, wishing you'd done better. Now's the time to do it. Thank you.
Extinction Rebellion! Extinction Rebellion! Extinction Rebellion! Raise arms fair!
Arms fair, but not really, we don't want it!
Okay. Powerful words here from my rebels, and the spirits are high. We're going to stay and block our gate, even if not so much traffic is trying to get in this way. And if you'd like to go over now to the other gate and have a look what's happening there.
Yeah, it was nice.
Hi, so we're over at Yellow Gate here and we're surrounded by beautiful hills. The weather is really nice today. We got someone on a tripod and people here on the floor locked on. And we also got a big banner just behind us. And nobody's around because apparently people are going inside the fair via another door. But we're still gonna hang out here for the day. And I'm gonna go closer to these two people so they can explain why they're here today, why they choose to be part of this action. Hi, can you explain to us why you're here today?
Hi, yes. Well, I've travelled a long way to be here. And I've got to say that the whole arms and military issue is very close to my heart. I'm in my 60s. I have supported CND and Stop the War coalition all my adult life, I was at CND rallies years ago. I went to Greenham, and now there's this extraordinary connection. I mean, a just ridiculous connection between the emissions of military and our climate emergency. Now that I'm aware of the climate emergency, which I've really become aware of since I got involved with XR, and it frightens the life out of me. I'm a grandmother, I'm an aunt, a great aunt of lots of countless young people in my family, and I am so concerned for their futures. And considering the amount of emissions, and what worries me is that I'm aware that the emissions from military and warfare and arms are hidden emissions. This is stuff we're not talking about. COP should be talking about this, but they're not. It seems to me that they're faffing around the edges of this whole climate emergency. I'm not very good at remembering statistics and things like that, but I do know, I think something sits in my head that there's something like 2 trillion being spent on military, arms and military, and where's that sort of money? Why isn't that sort of money being spent on the climate emergency? It's suicidal, the approach that COP is taking at the moment. And another thing that really upsets me is that COP is all the big voices from the powerful leaders on the planet. Where's the voices of the countries and the peoples who are currently being impacted by this climate and ecological emergency? Where's the money? We should be, they're debating getting 100 billion together. Where's the trillions? We should be spending the trillions on this climate and ecological emergency in the countries who are climate affected now. Never mind spending it on these arms. We know these arms are about a few powerful elites making money out of the misery of countries. And for instance, I mean, I think that something like 20 of the most climate impacted countries on the planet at the moment, 12 of them are suffering conflicts. It just distresses me terribly. So that's why I'm here. I've come a long way to do this. It means a lot to me. I'm locked on. I'm cold. I've got freezing cold feet. But I'm happy to stay for as long as possible. And we've got Badger here as well to keep company.
Thank you so much. And there's been apparently a development in another location, so we're gonna move over there. We'll come back maybe to this gate later. Thank you so much.
Hi, so I'm here at a different gate and it doesn't look like very much is happening, but the reason what's happening is, if you remember, I was over at the Brown Gate where just tons and tons of cars were streaming in that we had to let go because of the vaccination centre there. So the staff tried to divert the traffic through this gate here to park onto the field there, because that's an overspill for the 3 counties. But our very brave Samba band quickly moved into position and all the cars had to be diverted from here. So there are so many people attending this arms fair. I mean, who knew there were this many people who would drive to Malvern, Worcestershire to buy and sell these horrific weapons? And we've even got a lovely dog blocking the way. Hello there. So they are holding this gate, so there's not that much to see here, but we had a huge tailback a few minutes ago, and they have stopped this gate being used, and I'm on my way to the next gate that we're going to try to stop because they're trying to put them somewhere else. So I'm going to sign off from here and pass back to where we were, but I'm roving around and I'll have some more interesting things for you shortly.
Okay, so we're back at the yellow entrance of the arms fair, and we still have the sun with us, someone on top of the tripod, and it looks beautiful, even if the arms fair going on inside the Three Counties Showground is an ugly thing to happen. And all the carbon emission we were mentioning earlier that the military sector are responsible for. We don't have that many cars around us. There's the roads, but this entrance is blocked and people have moved over to the other entrance. I'm going to ask a second person why they're locked on a cold floor today. Hi.
Hello.
Here's the microphone. Could you explain to us why you're here today?
Hi. Yeah, I'm here to stop the arms fair. It's absolutely criminal that we've got an arms fair happening at the same time as COP26. What an irony that it's been recognised that climate change is a threat to national security, and here we are. We've got, you know, arms dealers trying to make money out of the fact that we're destabilising the climate. Yeah, I mean, the connections are all there. It's not at all random that Extinction Rebellion are here closing an arms fair. They're so connected. Climate change perpetuates war and conflict. We know that we're going to be seeing more conflict as climate change gets worse, as weather becomes more temperamental, as there's displacement of people, as there's resources going lacking. We're going to see more conflict. And here we're seeing people that are trying to profit out of that. And the other way around as well, the military is responsible for a huge amount of ecological destruction. The amount of destruction and then reconstruction required every time places are bombed and destroyed and there are fires. It's really significant. More than 20% of all ecological destruction is to do with military activity. So they're really, really connected. And obviously there is the big one, that the carbon emissions of the military, it's hidden, it isn't counted. You know, the UK is saying we're cutting our emissions, but we're not counting the emissions that are coming out of our military. So it's, you know, if we're going to come up with a policy as to how to cut emissions, then let's look first at what our emissions truly are and what our priorities are for the future. And it can't be, you know, we need to be working together now. We can't be killing each other. Yeah, so that's why I'm here.
Thank you so much. I hope you're all comfortable.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. My feet have actually got slightly warmer right now, and the sun's just peeping up over the trees.
Oh yeah, so your sleeping bag. We still have someone on a tripod. How are you holding up?
Okay,
cool. And we'll have maybe warm tea later. We've been up very early this morning. We've got a lovely dog to keep us company here. And you've made a nice sign here. Would you like to talk about it on camera?
I think Ines probably can talk better than I can.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, it's her sign, but yes, I agree with sentiments. The arms fair does not have a place in civilized society. We should not be having one. We should not be selling arms to countries who are using them to. We shouldn't be making them. We should be promoting their sale. They're harming people. They're causing destruction of the environment. The whole arms complex, the amount of carbon emissions from it is madness, and it just needs to stop. And people need to be aware that what is going on in this lovely countryside. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Would you like to say a few words?
If you like.
I mean, there's little else I can add, but I mean, I've been and worked in countries in conflict, and I think those of us who are here, I cannot imagine what it's like. And we are sitting, it's absolutely enough. You know, as Jessica was saying, no civilized country should allow that, both for the destruction of humanity and people and the economies and the destruction of the environment. If I'm not mistaken, the arms sort of industry is responsible for 6% of the global emissions, and let alone the destruction of lives. And it's a vicious circle, because the climate emergency is going to cause more and more conflict, which offers new markets to the trade industry. So at some point, this has to be stopped. And the the industry and the armaments, and they should use their ability, their technologies, their knowledge, their experience, the networks to create an economy that keeps the planet and keep humanity not only alive but prospering. And this is scandalous. It's immoral. So that's it, really.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm trembling a lot. It's very cold. There's a lot of wind. There's very brave people around here, and I got up very early this morning and been outside. We're just lucky it's not raining. I think we pass over to another gate, see what's happening over there. Maybe hear a bit of samba that could warm us up. Yeah, we're gonna hang out at Free Counties Showground for the day, working the gates and disrupting the arms fair as much as we can. And now let's have a look at what's happening at another gate.
Okay, so I'm here with some young people who are getting ready to do an action. Yeah, so we've got 4 people from the Midlands saplings. So these are Extinction Rebellion young people. They're now out on the road, yeah, with their bloodstained clothes, and they're moving over to a pedestrian gate. Yeah, because because we've blocked so many gates, they're really struggling to figure out how to get people into this arms fair so that they can continue to buy and sell tasers and who knows what kinds of drones and different kinds of weapons and what they call security technology. So these are the young people who have to inherit this earth that those of us who are a little bit older have left for them. Yeah, this action is called the blood of our children. Yeah, these are the young people that Extinction Rebellion does their work for. We do this because of the world that we are leaving for them is not the world we want to leave for them. The world is a world that is full of war and suffering. And our children have to inherit this. They have to inherit this world, yeah, where in a beautiful showground like this in the middle of the country, these people right here can buy and sell weapons that are creating the carbon emissions that are stealing their futures and killing innocent civilians across the world. So these kids today are sitting here in the freezing cold. I cannot tell you how cold it is here today. But this is the power of our youth in Extinction Rebellion to make this case, to say to the older generation that we can have no more of this, that we can't keep robbing their futures, that we have to build a sustainable planet that isn't blighted by the likes of a filthy military trade, that isn't blighted by petroleum and fossil fuels spewing shit into the atmosphere. Yeah, so I have to watch these beautiful children here in front of me who should be off having fun, but instead they're lying on the ground covered in what is, by the way, vegan fake blood, to bring home the point, that we can't continue like this. This is what Extinction Rebellion is here for, to rebel against everyone who is taking away these kids' futures. Yeah, we are here to save This beautiful planet. If you could see how lovely it is in this place here in the Malvern Hills. Beautiful green, and there's the cars of the military traders, yeah, who are buying and selling all kinds of weapons here. Weapons that are used daily in the global south to defend oil reserves, yeah, to defend coal mines. And then these kids, these young people here, this is the XR Midlands saplings, here to show you what's been left to them. Is this the future? It's kind of hard for me to find words. So I just want to leave you with them. There's a lot more happening here today than these young kids. But I'm sure that all of you at home are sending your love to them for what they've done, the crimes that they are calling out, and the apocalyptic future that faces them if we don't act now on the climate and ecological emergency. And so I think we're wrapping it. Is Kay going to wrap up for us? Or am I going to do a wrap? Okay, we're going to go to another interview now. And I'm going to stay here and give these young people a lot of love. And I might be back later with some more things. But over to our next interview.
Hi, so we're back at another gate here, and got someone that will speak to us here. So we've just been talking about the Midlands youth have been doing action over there. Quite dramatic, quite sad. How do you feel about being here today?
Yeah, so I guess it's no brainer being here, both because of the obvious suffering that's caused by the military, but also it's the Extinction Rebellion. We're focusing on the massive environmental impact of the military and all those industries around that. And it's another example of people profiting from suffering.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so this is one of the other quieter gates here, but we have blocked all the entrances, and although obviously cars have been getting through at one of the gates, but we've had lots of support from people, and yeah, just to get the message. No, so now we'll just go back, just have some final words for the end of the live stream.
Right, so I'm back here. The young people are still sitting here, absolutely frozen. I'm really actually worried for them. They're so cold. The people are parking over there now, but yeah, Extinction Rebellion knows how to flow like water, so this story isn't over. But we're going to be ending the live stream for now. But I want to really end with just this image of these young people freezing themselves. Yeah, to protest this vile trade that these people are just casually strolling across. Don't worry about the dead children. We're here. You've seen people at all the gates. This is, oh, and there's a military plane flying overhead. Yeah. This is our rebel family has come together here as Extinction Rebellion does. People all over these gates, people coming with love in their hearts because we act with ferocious love for these lands and for the people and all life on this planet. So the military trade, once again to remind us, the British military alone emits the same amount of carbon as 60 individual countries. So military, petroleum, oil reserves, all of this, carbon emissions, torture, human rights abuses, it's all interlinked. It's all linked. And we see that, and we're here to call that out. We're here to say that we need to change this system at its root so that we're no longer sending these horrible weapons to the global south to fight for oil reserves that we can burn up here and pollute the atmosphere, add the carbon dioxide to cause global warming. It's all one vicious cycle, and it's time to stop it. So huge, huge gratitude to the rebels who have all come to the Three Counties Showground in Malvern to stand up against this vile trade. So I'm just going to turn the camera around and just say thank you for being with us on this live stream. The story isn't over today. There's going to be a lot more mischief, but we're going to cut out now and say thank you for watching. Thank you for your solidarity. And remember, there's an arms trade coming near you too, and there's a chance for you, wherever you are. These happen across the UK, and wherever you are, there is an opportunity to stop them. But also, all of us here together as Extinction Rebellion saying, we're watching you in COP, and we know that you're lying, and we know that you're greenwashing. We know that you're not admitting to the fact that you're not making good enough targets, and you're not even then making the policies to meet those targets. We see you, we're watching you, we are here to rebel on behalf of all life. That is the flag that we stand on in Extinction Rebellion. Yeah, we will continue to demand that we act now to save both people and planet. Thank you for being with us.